Hello, everybody. I guess we're live. Or let me see. Hold on a second. So, yeah. Hello, everybody. I guess we're live. See how this works. I got I don't know if it's showing the message there, but I wasn't able to copy and paste it in one of the boxes, but see how it goes. So anyway. I don't even know what to read by. Oh, anyways, I have a theory about the origin of the universe and the expansion of space. It's probably not like you think. Let me see if I can find the text somewhere. Gotta see if it's echoing somewhere too. I guess not. Anyway, I'll just go ahead and do this. I gotta do it in faith. So yeah, I have quite a few things to show. I have some videos to show, and I have a new, say, observation, because what we need is observations of the universe. And we can't imagine things that are contrary to what we see happening in the universe. So when you look at the universe, what do you see? We don't understand how it is exactly, but we see a coalescing of matter. And this coalescing of matter is what slows down time for us so that we can exist. Because otherwise everything happens at the speed of light, and no physical thing or biological thing can exist at the speed of light, because we consist of matter, and matter is heavy. So we need time to be able to function and move, and have things happen for us. So what we see is everything being attracted to mass and mass coalescing. We don't see the opposite of what is normally called the Big Bang. We don't see an expansion of space, except for the fact that there is an expansion of space, but it's the opposite. It's going the opposite way of what you imagine. The reality is that the space is being stretched by the coalescing of matter and the contraction or coalescing of matter, the contracting of time and distance, so that it's stretching space that way, and it's also stretching space as it swirls around the black hole. It's stretching space and forcing it into the black hole. So it's really doesn't make any sense at all to say that everything came from nothing, when in fact everything comes from everything. In other words, there already was everything, and that everything, every physical thing in the universe is what is coalescing the matter and slowing down time and contracting distance or space for us. So it doesn't make sense to look at light years out in space and say this is evidence of deep time, when time in the past was running a lot faster than it is now, where time is slowed down for us to exist. So the first day was counted with the first turn of the Earth in relation to the Sun. That's when the first day was counted. And there was darkness covering the surface of the Earth. And then there was light. So it's all how you define a day, and you can't, time is relative. Time moves fast, time moves slow. But it's all about how you define a day, and the biblical way to define a day is one turn of the Earth in relation to the Sun. So, and that makes one day, which is logical and makes sense. Of course, that's after the creation of the heavens and the earth that were already made, they're already in place. The sun is already in place. The heavens are already in place. The earth was covered with darkness. Water covered the surface of the deep. And then God said, "Let there be light." And there was light, and there was still water covering the earth until dry land appeared. So the earth was flooded the first time in the creation, and then land appeared, and that's when all the biological life forms were made, including humans, and then they lived some 1,656 years, and there was a flood which flooded the earth again and buried all the animal fossils for us to see the evidence of the global flood. So, but in the formation, creation of the universe, the stretching out is the opposite way that people are thinking. It's not a big bang, it's a big crunch. And the big crunch of the coalescing of matter is what stretches space, and or stretched space in the past, so that it was stretching faster in the past than it is today. When you look out into space, it was stretching faster back then than it is now. And this is what makes possible our existence, because the coalescing of matter, where there's a lot of matter, slows down time so that we can exist. So that's basically my theory. It's the opposite of the Big Bang. It's the big crunch, because that's what we see happening. That's what we observe happening. We don't see any expansion necessarily, except for the stretching of space from the coalescing of matter, which is slowing down time and space, so that time passed by much faster in the past, because space was a lot larger, and the speed of light, of course, would be traveling a lot faster relative to our frame of reference. It's not that the speed of light speeds up or slows down. It remains the same in the frame of reference. It's the frame of reference that is speeding up and slowing down. So, and the observation of gravitational waves with a confirmation of light confirms this fact of the contracting of distance and the slowing down of time. So we really don't see time speeding up. We see time slowing down as everything is crunched into a black hole. What force there is that's doing this is, up for discussion, but this is what we've observed. We observe everything going into the black hole. We don't see, we see things coming out when there's explosions and stuff, but that's just excessive or extra matter that escaped, that didn't go into the black hole from the explosions that were happening from the, just like, boiling or whatever, popping. Or sometimes matter will go neatly into a black hole. Sometimes, if it's a lot of matter, it won't go so neatly. And of course, there's a lot of things we don't understand. There's a lot of movement, there's a lot of rotation, there's a lot of generation of magnetic fields, and just enormous forces at work, and which can cause any number of things to happen. And this is what we're studying right now in astronomy, is what makes all the phenomena in space with the quasars and the all the different things, the different kinds of collisions in space and everything. But we only see basically things contracting. We don't see things expanding, except for the space behind us, of course, was being stretched because of the coalescing of matter. But each galaxy is pulling on space, and this is what makes the vacuum of space. Otherwise, if there was a big bang, there would be pressure. There's no pressure, there's a vacuum. It's just a whole bunch of different things to confirm that we exist in a fabrication of time, or time that is slowed down, and distance that is contracted, or limited time and limited distance, or a contracting of time and a contracting of distance. But anyway, so I don't know if I'm seeing things correctly. I don't really see anybody responding very much here in the comments. I'll just go ahead and play some of my videos that I collected while I was on vacation. So if I can figure this out, let's see what I do here. So I got a jaguar, I got the Amazon, I got a flower and a jaguar, and I have some videos to show. Hopefully they show up here. First, before I get to that, this is, I'm just showing some videos. This is a bobcat. That I put a trail cam out and got a picture of a bobcat in the place where I go hiking and stuff. And there's quite a lot of wildlife there. Here's another picture of a bobcat. I have more videos besides this, but this is just to give an idea of some of the stuff I was messing around with. And of course I got other animals, got the deer, got raccoons, got possums. I don't have videos of everything right here, but I got owls. I got a lot of different things. And I suppose I could show that eventually too, but that's one thing. And I'd like to also mention that the non-believers in God really are at a loss as to what to say or how to defend their position of which is naturalism, their naturalistic position where everything made itself, everything caused itself, everything ordered itself, and this is totally at odds with science, totally at odds with everything we know and understand. It's like they like to make fun of you, and they like to try to make you look like you're dumb and you don't know what you're talking about, but then they really don't have any way of saying anything against the facts of creation. I mean, all they have is basically trying to make you look bad by calling you names and saying you're stupid and dumb and everything. But they're not able to actually make an argument. I mean, I deal with this so much. I've dealt with it for years. There is no argument against God. All the evidence is of God. And of course, with atheism, they try to say, oh, there's no gods. Where's a God? But you don't understand what a God is. You don't understand what the gods are. In ancient times and biblical times, the gods are powers. They're forces. Alexander was a power. He was a force. He was given power by God. All power comes from God. And regardless of whether the person is right or wrong or good or bad, he gets his power from God. He gets his force and ability to do things from God. All the pharaohs were little gods because of the power that they had, and they were regarded as gods because of their power. And that's how you define a god, you know. And when they gave credit to gods, you know, the god of thunder, lightning, or whatever, they're giving credit to the powers that be, the powers that are, the forces that exist in the world, the real forces that actually exist. I'm not talking about imaginary things. They're talking about real forces, you know, real fearsome things, you know, whether they were validly justifying their fear of things or not. They feared different powers, you know, either with reason or without reason, but that's what they regard God. And that's what gods are. But some gods aren't real, some gods don't have power, like idols. You know, they considered idols to be a god. They thought it had power. They thought it had the power to do things. And Jehovah is making fun of their gods because their gods are powerless. And the whole biblical teaching is to explain to people that physical objects, physical things are unable to do anything of their own. Everything that anything does is by the power it was given to them, or by the ability, or by the properties that was given to that particular thing. And objects don't get their properties from their own ability. Their properties are given to them. If something is hard or soft or flexible, those properties are given to that material or that compound or whatever. And each of the elements has a different property. And of course we know from combining elements that they produce additional properties, additional different kinds of properties. So that's what we do in metalworking. Is what they've done for centuries in metalworking, is to combine metals and get different properties and use them for different things. And this is all skill. This is all abilities that people either have or don't have. So I guess there's enough of the turkey. Turkeys are nice. This is an interesting animal here. It's a nocturnal animal. People don't usually see this animal. And it's very different from an ordinary fox, a red fox. You know, both foxes live in the same habitat and the same place and stuff, pretty much. You know, sometimes, anyway. But one exists or is out and about in the daytime, and the other one is out and about at night. But this one here, this nocturnal fox, is very different from the other fox, because it has claws like a cat, and it can climb trees. And if you don't believe me, you can look up the videos on gray foxes climbing trees. You know, they can climb trees as good as anything else, because they have claws that extend out. They're not just fixed. They go out like a cat, the claws. But anyway, it's a very interesting animal, very nice animal. I'd like to have one for a pet. Maybe I can get one for a pet. Might have to find out what the rules are, if there's any rules. But should be able to have it as a pet. I don't know. I don't know if I'm allowed, but I'll see. Anyway, yeah, and I have several videos of this animal here. It's a nice animal. It came to visit me the other night. It's an interesting experience when you're out in the woods by yourself, alone, far from everybody, and you hear something coming up to you at night in the dark, and you're trying to figure out what it is, you know, and you have to determine what it is in order to react to it if necessary, you know. And when I was in January, or was it maybe in the fall? Yeah, I think it was in the fall, last fall, that a bear came up. It was a bear that came up and checked me out. But this time it wasn't a bear. It was this little fox. fox, I'm pretty sure, because of the way it was scurrying around, running around. And it wasn't a coyote, I don't think, because coyotes tend to trot around, and they don't mess around. They're not like that, you know. But this fox was kind of curious, and he was scurrying around, and I would shine the flashlight, and he would scurry over to the other side and shine the flashlight over there, and then he'd scurry away. And then he came back later, and it wasn't until he see me reach out for the bear spray that he ran off really fast. Anyway, that's a nice animal right there. And it probably wasn't a bobcat, because bobcats don't act that way, coyotes don't act that way, bears have a bigger footprint, bigger step, and already scared the bear off before, so I don't think he would come back while I'm there anyway. So I had candles burning, I had everything. I figured, you got a flame, it's flickering all over the place. It's a bright light, you figure it would keep the animals away, but it didn't. There was a couple of different animals, and there was later on something, probably armadillo or raccoon or something, came around. But anyway, that's half the fun right there. Now this area in the Midwest is particularly kind of rich with life, I have this, you might not be able to see it very well, but there's an owl here, and I have mice. I have videos of mice too, and it's pretty diverse kind of place, and it would be good if we could keep it that way, because just look how clean the water is, and look how much animal life there is. This is stuff we need to keep, keep away from, keep humans away, so that they don't destroy it, Let me see. I have another video that I want to play. It's kind of a political video, but the problem is that I can't really hear. I don't think I can hear the audio on it, but I'll just go ahead and try to play it anyways. And I really don't like politics that much, but sometimes you have to play. Well, first I'll show the coyote here. Here's a coyote. That's a coyote. It's not a fox, I'm pretty sure. And I got other videos of coyotes too. But I have the coyote, which is a daytime animal, and then there's the foxes. The gray foxes are nighttime animals. And I have other videos of coyotes and gray foxes. But this is all, it's all God's creation. Nothing here can make itself, Nothing can make itself. And the biodiversity before the flood was something really tremendous, something really awesome to see. I mean, just thinking about the dinosaurs, is enough to make you wonder, the Bible says the dinosaurs, show the power of God. They're there to show the power of God. But of course, people believe in objects, believe that objects made themselves, they believe objects directed themselves, They directed themselves to make a coyote, directed themselves to make an owl, directed themselves to make a fox, a deer, raccoon, possum, armadillo. This is absurd. It can't happen once. It can't happen once in any life form, much less all of the life forms at the same time in the same place. It just, you can't get information that's not there. By explanation of the origin of the universe, everything has to come from everything that already is. It can't come from nothing. Everything doesn't come from nothing. Everything is being crushed. What's this? Desktop audio. What I got the desktop audio going for? Wait a minute. What's going on here? What I got here? I don't need this. I got this. Okay. Alright. I don't know what's going on with this. So yeah, I wanted to play this warning for America. I hate being political. I hate politics. But sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, and this video is for that. No, I don't know what this desktop audio is. It's not on now. It's not going now. But anyway, let me go ahead and play it. See if it works. This is America the Beautiful. America the Beautiful, the home of the brave. With the deer and the antelope play. I guess the videos of deer playing. Here's clean water, and that's after the rainfall.
See that? This is America. Take a good look at it. The Democrats have their way. There won't be any more America. The Democrats do away with electoral college, which means the United States will no longer exist. Think about that.
Yep, think about it. Think about it. Think and choose wisely. Anyways, it looks like nobody's out tonight. Nobody wants to talk to me, so I guess I'll go ahead and shut this down. Nobody has questions. I mean, the unbelievers, which, better than calling people unbelievers than atheists, because atheist is just an empty term. Doesn't mean anything. Doesn't prove anything. It doesn't even have a position. But unbelievers just have nothing to say. They have no argument. They have no argument against the information that comes top down. It doesn't come bottom up. Nothing is bottom up. Power doesn't come from smaller and smaller units of power making greater and greater units of power. Power comes top down. That's why the universe is made top down. It's made from everything, every potential thing that there is, to make everything that is. It's not nothing. Everything doesn't come from nothing. Nothing comes from nothing. The only thing that comes from nothing is nothing, which isn't anything. And Stephen Hawking says, "Oh, we got gravity. because we have gravity, you don't have gravity until you have matter. And you got to explain the existence of matter, which is forced, which takes energy to make. Matter is forced to be what it is. Energy is ordered in the universe. Energy is going from order to disorder. Energy can't order itself. Energy can't make itself. Everything is top down. Nothing is bottom up. It's just so absurd. It's to the point of being annoyed at people who call themselves scientists. And they don't have the courage to come here and talk to you because they know they will look really bad. So they send their students. They tell their students, brainwash their students, and send them out to talk to us. And they say, well, what do you say? Oh, you got to say this. You got to say that. Well, tell them this. Tell them that. They won't come to talk to you themselves. They brainwash their students and send their students. And that's how they propagate their object credit giving thing, their naturalistic belief. Their belief that nature makes and orders itself, which is totally contrary to science. No part of it was ever observed. Nothing was observed. So everything has to be top down, including the origin of the universe. It has to be top down. It has to come from every potential that there is, every power that there is, that already exists. It can't come from no power. It has to come from all power. If there's any power, it has to come from a greater and greater power. All power is of God. Every ruler gets his power from God. It's God that gave him the power. The power is there for the taking because God put it there. And God gave it to him, and of course, each ruler will be judged according to how responsible he is and faithful to the truth of God's word and to his people. So, the unbelievers have lost the argument a long time ago, and they don't even know it. They don't even know how bad they look. They don't even know how bad they lost the argument. They don't even know hardly anything. They don't know how anything got here. They think there was a big bang instead of a big crunch with the theory of observed forces in the universe. We can see that everything is getting crunched, and there's no, it's not being expanded out, it's not being pushed out. That would be pressure. It's being drawn in, which causes a vacuum. So there's that too. And of course, a lot of things are happening, including the dilation of time and distance, and there's forces that we can't even imagine. There's electrical forces. There's when you condense hydrogen or coalesce hydrogen, and it starts spinning. It's a liquid metal that is spinning, causing the electromagnetic fields that are really, really strong. They're strong in Jupiter, they're strong in Saturn. The electromagnetic forces are strong in the sun, but when you're talking about black holes and supermassive black holes and things like that, you're talking about forces that we can't even understand. And we see everything. It's actually forcing space to spiral into the black hole. Space is actually being pulled into the black hole. Space itself, that's what's stretching space, is the force of the matter, and the amount of matter that to do something like that is just, it's power and forces that we can't even understand what they are. But anyways, looks to me like nobody's very talkative unless this thing's not working, and it doesn't look like I have very many viewers either. Everybody was asking me where I've been for 2 or 3 weeks and stuff, and then now I'm back again. Nobody's around to talk to me. I guess it must be early too. It's probably because it's so early. Maybe if I come back on later, maybe somebody will be around. So 11:30. This is early. Anyway, they might be doing something else here. Come to think of it, that's probably what's going on. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll end it for now. See what happens. And see you guys later. God bless you, and may the truth guide you in everything, because the truth will set you free. The truth is your salvation. Only your Maker can perfectly cover for you himself and remake you again from the inside out by the power of his true word, as no one else can. Okay, there is no one who is able to do anything, restore you, to do anything for you. That's another thing. If we're dying, if we live, we're born, we grow, and then we die, what went wrong? I mean, how did you get all this life and this energy and everything, and life forces, and then why is it going downhill? What happened to life? Something happened to us. Something happened to creation. What happened to it? It was made by perfection, and it became corrupt. What happened to it? That's the big question. And we have to accept responsibility as the highest life form for what happened to creation. All of creation groans, waiting for the redemption. All of creation is suffering because of what went wrong in the universe, in the world. So none of this that we see is made from corruption. Corruption corrupts, and it doesn't produce anything. All of this that we see is made by perfection. Not that it's necessarily perfect as it is, but it takes perfection to make good things. It takes intent to make good things. And when things go bad, it's because something went wrong. It's no longer being upheld by perfection. It's being destroyed by corruption. I mean, these are things that the big thinkers have to think about. The big minds, if you will, the big intelligent, high IQ people. This is what they should be thinking about. Because there are answers. There are answers for how things were made and how things got the way they are and what the solution is. There's answers for it. There's plenty of answers. And it's just that people don't care. They don't want to know because they hate the truth. They hate God. They hate the truth. They hate instruction. And that's how everything was made, is by instruction, and everything is being destroyed by lack of instruction or corruption. And these are things that people have to think about. And seems all the big high IQ people aren't even thinking about it. It's like as if they hate the truth. And it's only Christians who are telling the truth. There is no other truth. Only your Maker can perfectly cover for you himself and remake you again from the inside out by the power of his true word, as no one else can. Salvation is through sanctification by the Spirit and believing what is true. We are saved not on the basis of deeds we have done in righteousness, but according to his mercy by the washing and regenerating of the Holy Spirit, renewing of the Holy Spirit. I mean, this is all truth of the Bible. And all people can say is just sit back and criticize the Bible for everything their ancestors did, which is child sacrifice, slavery, all this stuff, You don't even take the responsibility for your ancestors what they did, or try to correct what they did. You just don't want to know what the truth is, and just don't care, and that's it, But anyway, it looks like I have to come back later, maybe. So there's my fox, and I'll see. Hope the best for everyone, and I hope the scientists snap out of their trance. The secular scientists, the object credit giving scientists that are idol worshippers, object worshippers, object credit givers. Your belief is as old as a hill, and there's no excuse for it. It's wrong. It's the result of lies, and it corrupts and destroys. And we're telling the truth in order to salvage what is left of this creation, what is left of us. And people just don't want to hear it because they hate God. And that's the truth of God's Word.